I wasn't feeling in such a dull mood lately, but finally I was able to finish one. So today's theme will be cottagecore, because I just wanted to do something like that. I really like the aesthetic, and let's face it, I am not able to wear something like that. So why not make a doll? The basic idea came to me when I watched a video by either The Greatest Toy Box or Next Gen. It is the same person. I'm always not sure which is which. So, she unboxed some LOL surprise dolls, nature lover things, and there was one doll with two braids, and I think she had a bang, or she had bangs. So I thought that was cute with her hairstyle and the bandana she wore. So I wanted to do something similar. Now we have Draculaura and the hair. Let's go to the reroute. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think everyone knows how a reroute works and I don't have to show it. Maybe sometime I will show it again, but not today. I like to watch TV while doing something like that, and no filming for me while doing that. Yeah, I parted her hair into 3 segments, so we have the 2 parts that will be braided in the end, and the bangs. And now it is time to wrap her up into some fabric for 2 sprays of MSC. While preparing my workspace, I thought it would look neat to put some felt underneath and have a more clean look. For once. As you see, I failed miserably because you still see the desk and not as clean as I wished it would be. Basically, I then started with some shading around her forehead and the sides of her head to give the vinyl head a little bit more dimension. I do like to start with a lighter color and then put some darker one on top, because the head won't pick up too much of the dark pigment when there already is some. So, yeah. Then I sketched out her features. Because of the whole cottagecore theme, I didn't want to lie too heavy into the makeup department or go too fancy or extreme. So, again, it is a rather soft and light and delicate repaint portion. Or you might say a boring one. The picture that I had in my head was insanely romantic and airy and cute, and she is quite cute in the end, but this elegant, airy feel isn't completely there. But I still like her. Because of the finished clothing, I decided to shade her body a little bit. I should have shaded the legs as well, but yeah, I didn't, and that was a mistake, but we are still learning. The one thing I like in the summer is that because of the higher temperatures, the MSC works a lot better than in winter. So 2 coats of painting were totally enough. And yeah, in winter I mostly need more, but I don't like summer. Summer is one of the biggest reasons why I am unable to do anything, because I hate high temperatures. and the last week was already over 25 degrees Celsius here in Bremen, and I hate it. I just plainly hate it. With some last details, the repaint potion already is done and we could care for her hairstyle. Freeing her from her hair burrito, I put her onto her little improvised stand again and then went down to the kitchen to boil wash her. Because I didn't use high quality doll hair, I had to struggle a lot with her bangs. I hate them. Not as much as I hate summer, but I still think they turned out not as cute as I imagined them. Cutting the bangs to an appropriate length, I used the techniques I learned when I was a hairdresser, or when I became a hairdresser, and that I used for years. I always struggle with bangs when they are this small. The cutting process was fine, and I thought they looked quite nice, but then I boil washed it again and decided to dry the hair with a hairblower, which ended in the bangs going into every direction. So I took out the straightening iron and tried that. Of course, the bangs were too small, and I don't have one of the small straightening irons. And yeah, I had to come up with something, and I remembered I saw how someone used a knife, heated it up, and made it this way. I tried it, but the bangs still won't behave like I wanted them to. In the end, I used the hot knife method compared with blowing air, cool air from my hairdryer, which worked quite nice. Then, off camera, I tried to curl the side dangly things, and yeah, I did not think about lowering the temperature of the straightening iron and straight up melted them into one piece of plastic. So I had to remove them. A slight bummer, but I still think it turned out quite nice. As I already mentioned in the beginning, then I embroidered a piece of fabric, and I made it far too complex for me, but it turned out quite cute. So I put it onto her as a bandana, hair, headscarf thing. You know what I mean, I hope. And just sewed it in place, which turned out quite nice. When I tried it first, she looked a little bit too, strange. But with the more detailed bandana, it worked quite nice. And then I could dress her in the already pre-made outfit. The first thing was the skirt, which was made by cutting out a rectangular white piece of fabric, hemming it at the bottom edge, adding some trim and ribbons, and then putting a layer of lace on top, securing it with the same dots that I made for her corset. And then just gathering everything and putting a waistband onto it. I sewed her into the skirt, and I thought it looked quite cute. To put her into her corset, I removed her arms. The corset was made months ago, just as a test piece, but I thought it turned out quite nice. It was more inspired by the 18th century corsetry and far more detailed than I normally do these kind of stuff. I was quite happy with it, and so I embroidered it for her and then just stitched her in as well, this time using a more, not a cross-laced technique, but going around and around and around, spiral lacing. That is how it's called. Which I think was still appropriate for this style of corsets. I'm not a costume historian, I don't exactly know it, I just follow the advice that I found in videos from Bernadette Banner, Morgan Donner, Abby Cox, and Nicole Rudolph. These are the ones that I watch the most. After ending her life as a Venus of Milo counterpart and attaching her arms again, I then put on her apron, and what I like is you can put it on normally, you can put it under the corset thing, at least on the in the front, which looks quite nice. And with that, we had her in her outfit. The apron, again, just rectangular of fabric. I put some pockets on top of it by using the same satin ribbon that I used for the waistband. Then we could reattach her hat, and I was happy with her. I then noticed that I still had one of the straw hats and thought, oh come on, just put it, or give it to her, put some of the green ribbon onto it and a pink rose, and with that I had some accessories for her. She was finally done, and I really like her. Even with the bangs situation. I'm not sure that I really like bangs, but doesn't matter. On her it's okay, and to no one's surprise, the next doll that will come up next week has bangs as well. Yay! And with the last bit of gloss on her lips and eyes, we can now take a look at the pictures I took of her. Finally, I have someone who is able to fit into my tiny house that I made, my dollhouse that I made once. I think she fits into it. And then I took her outside, took some pictures there, and I think they turned out really cute. I hope you enjoyed this little cottagecore themed video, and we will see us in the next one. Bye.